but it's basically contact with mouse poop has a certain bacteria in it that will get into your brain stem and fuck your brain up and
Shut
melt
the
it.
fuck
Yeah, it's
up.
terrifying.
Well, Geoff, it's the end of an
Yes.
era.
What's going on?
Breaking news.
Oh yeah, here we go.
I will remember you.
Doom.
Will you remember Justin Trudeau? Don't
I
let
will remember
the
him.
Justin Trudeau pass you by.
We've not
Hold on to
fallen from
the Justin
heaven.
Trudeaus. Breaking
Nice.
news, Justin Trudeau is gone.
Gone. Hasta la
My
vista,
favorite
baby.
prime minister of all time. Pretty much the only one I really paid attention to, besides Chrétien, because he was in the news all the time when I
Yeah,
was a
Christian was
kid.
always in the news. Yeah. Paul
Yeah,
Martin was in the news a lot
yeah,
too.
when you grow up with 3 channels on Peasant Vision without cable because you're living
You
the
get a lot of
fucking boonies.
CBC. You get a lot of
Yeah,
CBC.
you see a lot about Canadian politics.
Yeah.
None of it is voluntary, might I add.
No.
Oh, I guess I did know a bit about Harper just because he was like
Oh yeah.
evil,
He's
and
pure evil.
he was just like like conservative boiled down to a refined point.
And who did we get in return? But Winnipeg's own Mark Carney.
85% of the vote I saw on
Yeah.
Twitter.
It was
That's a
kind of
lot.
like I was thinking about it. Like the only other person that I even saw that was like closely in the running was Krista Friedland. But
And fuck her.
yeah, there's some issues there too. But yeah, it was like basically from the moment it was announced, I was pretty sure it was going to be Mark Carney all the way.
Yeah, she
For
tried to do
Alpine
our
position.
boy dirty,
She did.
tried to fucking cut his legs out from underneath him.
Yep. Not having it. Not having it.
Nope. I
So yeah,
know
so
absolutely nothing about Mark Carney. I saw a bunch of conservatives online complaining about him, and I was like, that
yeah.
probably means it's a good idea.
That probably means he's good. Yeah, good for the country. Who the hell knows? Uh, you had to know it was going to be yet another old white dude in power.
Hey,
That's how it works. That's how we
whoever's
do.
better, whoever's best. And I don't know who's in
It's
politics
clearly a
besides old white
meritocracy.
people,
It's mostly old
but
white people.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Jagmeet Singh.
yeah, him and Krista
He's a different
Friedland,
party.
but
And Christopher
she's
Freeland. Yeah.
probably done now.
Yeah, probably. Usually when you run for a, like when you throw your hat in the ring for
Mhm.
the prime minister position and you don't get it, you sort of fade into the background.
Yeah,
She'll
I
still be
guess
prominent in the party, I guess. She
I
was
should
what,
explain
financial
this
or something. Anyway,
to
the people.
non-Canadian viewers, if we have any. Up here, we don't actually vote for prime minister. We pick a party, and whoever's the leader of that party becomes prime minister. And since Trudeau stepped down, whoever became the leader of the Liberal Party is now our prime minister. So
Until an
Mark
election is
Carney.
called.
Sorry?
Until an election is called. So typically we'll very likely have Mark Carney until October, and then in October we'll have to vote for a new prime minister. We don't vote for a new prime minister. We'll have to vote, and then
For the party.
I will vote for the NDP in my region because we're a strong NDP region as we've gone
Mhm.
over. Jagmeet Singh is the leader of the NDP party and also the MP in my riding here in
Okay.
Burquitlam. And yeah, so generally we vote for him as a general rule, and then the conservatives will probably win the upcoming election as it
Mhm.
does. It flips and flops. If
Yeah.
liberals were in power as they were for the last 10 years,
Yeah. You,
as
you
much
don't
as I
really
don't
get.
want Pierre Poilievre to be the fucking prime minister of Canada, he's probably going to get in because it usually flips parties for a couple of years and switches back.
Yeah, because everybody's like, oh, we'll just get a
We're
different party
fucking
in there.
tired
That'll
of the
fix everything.
liberals. So the
Nope.
conservatives will fix everything. And then they come in and
Yeah.
they fuck it up. And we're like, I can't believe we voted for this. And then we're like, immediately there'll be a short term conservative prime minister and then a long term liberal prime minister. And then that is Canada in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, Harper ran 2 terms, didn't he?
I don't think so.
He got elected more than once because they did a no confidence vote, but then he won.
Right.
I
I'm going to
looked
look
it
it
up.
up. You did?
Okay. No,
Okay.
not right now. I looked it up a while ago because I was just I was basically doing research to have arguments with conservatives, and
Oh yeah. So he was 2006 to 2015.
yeah,
So
9 years,
9 years. So
the same as Trudeau.
pretty much the same as Trudeau. Yeah.
Yeah, because Trudeau was 16 to 25, right?
Right. Yep. That's
God,
correct.
how was that already 9 years ago?
Yeah, I know. And he's still like a young man. That's the weird part, right? Like he's still young.
I think he's mid 50s, isn't he?
He was born in 19, I want to say 71. He's only a few years older than me.
Damn, you
Yeah.
could have been prime minister, Geoff.
No, I couldn't. Too many skeletons hanging in that closet.
Well, he's got some skeletons too. It didn't really hurt him.
Yeah.
They tried to make it hurt him though.
I'm not smart enough. I never did blackface, so
Well,
I
that's
probably
true.
wouldn't make prime minister.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody actually cares about blackface. I think they just
I,
say they do, so
I
people think
did
that they have feelings online.
in the 80s. I did go as Mr. T for Halloween, but I didn't paint myself, so I was like white Mr. T. I don't know if that counts. Does that count?
No.
Okay.
I
Thank you. Thank you for saying that doesn't count. I
I
did go as
did
Mr. T for Halloween.
involuntary blackface when I was like
Ah,
3 years old.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
I went as B.A. Baracus.
Nice.
I went as the character from the A Team. I didn't go as Mr. T.
When I was like, I want to say 3, my mom gave me blackface and I
Oh.
can't remember why. And I don't want to throw her on the bus by making it
I
sound
want to
worse
throw her under the bus.
than it was. I was either 3 or 4. And I think she dressed me up as a black kid, but I can't remember. Like, I
You
don't think there
you're
was an actual character.
you're Dutch heritage, right? Were you
Yeah.
like Zwarte Piet or something like that? Were you like I don't I just
I
in my
was,
limited knowledge of Dutch stuff, that's like one of the things that stands out because I had a very long
oh,
conversation
yeah.
with a Dutch friend of mine about this.
It's one of the most shocking things
It's
about,
horrifying.
I guess now
About
we
being
have to
Dutch.
explain who Zwarte Piet is.
Zwarte Piet?
Yeah.
No, Black Peter. We don't
Yeah.
want to talk about Black Peter.
Google it.
Just Google it. You'll
Maybe I
get
went for all
get
the
on a
Dutch
watch
boomers
list.
out there. A licorice baby. I know what you fuckers call those,
I
but
know.
they're
I know.
licorice.
Yeah, they're licorice. Yeah. So anyway, moving right along.
Yeah. Ask
Sorry,
anybody who's over 60 what they used to call licorice babies
no, don't do
if
that.
you
Do
think the
not do that.
society as a whole has a problem with blackface.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So yeah, that's a whole thing. I remember the first time my mom said it, and I almost fell out of my couch. I was like, "What the fuck did you just say?" Yeah.
And then you're like, do you have any?
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
also delicious.
I've got a hankering now. Now I've got a
Yeah.
hankering. You did that to me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have to have a tight hour because the toddler looked like she had droopy eyes before I came in here.
I was
So
gonna ask you about that. I'm like, how is the time? It is for those of you who don't know, Canada has a time change, which happened last night, which is spring ahead. Basically, we lose an hour of sleep and it fucks up kids and pets.
it doesn't fuck up our kid because she hasn't been sleep trained.
Oh no. Yeah. So our child had a problem with it, and our cat is just messed up by it.
Oh, really?
He adapts really quickly, but yeah, he's like he's walking around looking because right now we're feeding him early, right? So he's like,
Mm.
why are you giving me my food early? This is bizarre. And he's gonna ask for food at 8 o'clock, or at 9 o'clock, which is now 8 o'clock. So
Yeah, he's like, I know you guys fed me an hour ago for some
yeah,
extra
for
treat,
some
but
extra
now I'm
treat.
ready for my regular
Yeah, I'm not
food.
ready for our regular food.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. He's a
I,
kind
on
of
the other hand, do not notice time change at all
me neither.
because I wake up and look at my phone and that's what time the world is.
Yeah.
And it changes automatically.
You gotta love iPhones doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so on to your tight hour. We're like 20 minutes in already, but we're not.
No, we started late.
We started late.
We
So
started late.
what do you want to talk about after the breaking news of
After the breaking
new
news,
Prime Minister?
I wanted to start off talking about like the most horrible thing that happened with Gene Hackman
Oh yeah, man, what is up with that?
because it just got released what actually happened.
Okay,
Because
can I start this one off?
yeah, started off.
So I heard about the Gene Hackman thing, and when I read the initial report, I
Mhm.
was like, "That's got to be a murder suicide or something,"
Mhm.
because basically what happened was, and the initial report that came out was it Thursday, I guess. It
Yeah,
was like
something like that.
Gene Hackman, who is 95,
Mhm.
his wife, who is 64, and one of their dogs were found dead in their house, and two
Mhm.
of the dogs were fine. And that was it for the initial report. Like,
Yeah.
what a hell of an initial report. You're like, okay, he's 95, so he probably died because he's old,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're going to expire around 95, right? And then, but then, like, his wife being dead, I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry that I should know her name as well.
I don't
Anyway,
think many people. Do you want to hear my guess on what I had guessed happened right
what?
when I heard it?
So my guess, sure, yeah. Let's hear what you have.
No,
To say.
you say your guess first because you
My,
started it.
my guess was a sort of he died, she couldn't handle it and killed herself because they also said that there was a bottle of pills found at the
Oh
scene.
my god, that's exactly what I
And
thought.
so and then I was like, but then why is the dog dead?
See, I thought the dog, like,
Maybe
because
ate
they
some of the
said
pills or
she,
something.
yeah, they found her in the
Yeah.
bed or in the bathroom, and
Yes.
there's pills on the counter. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, she took the pills, she died, the dog ate the pills off the floor, and then
And
also
then it
died.
died. Right. But and then the other dogs didn't eat the pills, so they were fine.
But
So
what actually
that's so
happened,
but what actually happened is fucking way crazier.
it's
Not way
so
crazier. It's
dark
actually sad. It's very sad. Yeah.
and dark
Yeah.
and crazy.
Yeah. It's all of it.
So we'll start with like the most horrific part, which is the dog.
Yeah.
The dog died because it starved to death because it was in a crate because it had just come back from the vet. So it was it was like in the bathroom in a crate with the wife who was
Yeah.
yeah, and she died of Hantavirus, and that's what the pills are. And I like looked up what Hantavirus is, and it's like
Hantavirus.
Hantavirus is from the Hantavirus
Hantavirus.
strain.
You
And
didn't
I was
know
like,
about
whatever.
this? It's from mice. It's a rat
Oh,
shit disease. You didn't
she
know about
got it from
hantavirus?
Ratchet?
It's super horrifying from mice in the house.
No, I didn't know
That's what
this.
you don't know what hantavirus is? It
I
was like a
grew up with
huge
mice in the
dude, it
house.
was a huge problem in Vancouver like maybe like like a decade ago. It was a huge
Hmm.
problem. People were dying about it lots because we had like a huge rat and mouse
Oh,
infestation.
really?
But it's basically contact with mouse poop has a certain bacteria in it that will get into your brain stem and fuck your brain up and
Shut
melt
the
it.
fuck
Yeah, it's
up.
terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. So if you ever come in contact with mouse turds, like get
Oh my
help
god.
right away.
So she dies of this,
Yeah.
and then like that a week later, Gene Hackman dies, and they say he died, and because he was like
He was in like
super
late stage
Alzheimer's,
Alzheimer's. Yeah.
so he like
He was
the
walking
only
around the house confused, I assume, for
yeah,
a week.
so the only like silver lining to this whole thing is that maybe he didn't know she was dead, but the darkest is that he finds her dead every day and just forgets, and then every
Yeah.
day he has to relive that horror because he has Alzheimer's,
It's like the shittiest Groundhog Day.
and that's the darkest timeline. The
Yeah.
darkest timeline Gene Hackman death is he finds his wife dead every day because he has Alzheimer's, so he keeps forgetting she's dead, and then he just like his heart like kicks out. They don't say they said he had like died of heart disease, but
Mhm.
they didn't say if he had like a jammer or like a stroke or what
Right.
happened.
Yeah. And it could have been anything because it's like
Mhm.
super, super late. It just said uh atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease.
Which I don't know what that is. I
I
didn't
don't
even know what
either.
Hantavirus is, though. So if I'm gonna know it,
Well, I knew what hantavirus was, so I could tell you that.
that's why you're here, Jeff,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
enlighten me on mouse poop
To help you
disease.
on mouse poop diseases. I was deathly afraid of it for a long time.
Even though I fucking because I grew up with mice in my childhood home, I
Yeah.
probably barely escaped hantavirus.
Yeah. So that's kind of a wild story because
I saw
especially when
mouse
you
poop all the time growing up.
dude, I bet you did on a farm. Absolutely you did.
How did I not get that in my brain?
There's mouse poop in our garage because our garage has like gaps in the door and they come in through the door and then they just kind of run away and there's
Does
always
it have
poops
to be
there.
like, is this like that deer mouse thing when it's like
Yeah.
a certain kind of mice has it?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't have those mice where I came
No,
from.
and that's the thing. They have them here, right? Those mice are here. They're in our neighborhood and they're in California as well. Where
Of
Gene Hackman
course they're
was.
here. Fuck
Yeah. Yeah, we have
stupid
all that.
Vancouver.
Yeah, that's a terrible one. That's like that's a rough way to go.
Yeah,
So
that's terrible.
yeah, pretty dark.
Woof.
Pretty dark. Can we do it? Is there an enlightening story? Do we have an enlightening one we
Oh,
can look at today? Give me
how about how much would you pay for the best strawberry you've ever tasted in your life?
I'm allergic to strawberries, so I wouldn't pay shit
Wow,
for a
way
strawberry.
to step on the story, Jeff.
Sorry, I totally fucked your segue.
You and your fucking jeans.
Uh,
Because there's this place, there's a rest or a grocery store in Los Angeles
City of Angels.
selling strawberries for 19 American dollars. So that's like
Jesus.
25
25,
Canadian
20. Oh, it's
dollars.
27 Canadian dollars.
Oh, geez. Um, so yeah, there's this place that it's selling like prestigious fruit from a Japanese fruit vendor called LEMI, and they are $19 each. And you know what? I'm gonna sound like a basic bitch here. I would definitely pay $19 for a strawberry. I'd only do it
It
once.
like it's beautiful. Like the strawberries are
Yeah.
it's a perfect strawberry. And it's a big fat strawberry too.
You know what it looks like now that my toddler is watching Beauty and the Beast?
What's that?
The rose that's in that glass case,
Oh, it
and
totally
it's like
does. Yeah,
it
yeah, it
looks
does.
exactly like that
So
because it comes
yeah, it comes in like
it like
a glass, a rounded top glass jar with like a handle on it, and you can
yeah,
keep strawberry on it, right? So
and the
it's
strawberry's
like a
like
bell jar, right?
this big.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like
It's
fist
not just a
size.
terrible Margaret Atwood book.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, so I mean, at least like if you're paying for a strawberry, if
Mhm,
you're paying $19 for it, it's beautifully packaged,
mhm.
right? Like if you want to look at it from like that perspective,
Yeah.
you know what this is. You know what this whole story is reminding me of, though.
What?
The $400 square watermelons that they were selling at Whole Foods in Vancouver a few years ago. Do you remember that fiasco?
No, I don't remember
Oh
that,
my
but
God, you got to look this one up. People were absolutely, you guys did this on Outrage Factor. I remember
oh
watching it and
yeah.
how mad you were. You're like, oh yeah, I remember now. Before I joined the podcast, they did an episode that was like almost primarily this. People were losing their shit on Twitter about this.
Oh yeah.
Basically, anytime you get fruit that
Mhm.
costs a lot of money for something weird, people lose their minds.
Oh yeah. Like this one, I saw a little bit of it. Like that's the only reason I saw it. I know about it, but it's like the internet's different now. Like it might be just because it was an election year and we're like brand new into Trumpdom, but it's just like nobody's talking about being upset about what they used to be. Like
So
we've kind of given
yeah,
up on all the like gender war bullshit. Like the culture war bullshit's kind of like died way down, and expensive fruit's not as
well, no, because we've
popular
seen
apparently.
expensive fruit already, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like fuck, we've already so a $19 strawberry. Well, you know what? That it's weird too, because like the first thing that I think of when I see that is that was made for TikTok specifically,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like somebody was like, you know what would be a fun ploy to get people to review this shit on TikTok? A $19 strawberry. Let's make a boutique strawberry and do this. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's where is it showing up? It's showing up on TikTok.
Oh yeah. You
People
want
are
to
like,
hear
I'm
something?
reviewing the $19 strawberry. I'm gonna eat it on right now, live for all the people. And then money rolls in, profit. Next step. I
Yeah.
don't know. Fuck. That $19 strawberry made somebody a fortune on TikTok.
Do you want to hear the word? Okay, so there's a news story about it, and this is gonna explain it all
Okay.
exactly what you're saying, Geoff. So over the weekend, several content creators went viral with their reviews of one very expensive berry
And see,
purchased from the upscale Los Angeles-based grocery store chain Erewhon. Apparently, it's the best tasting strawberry in the entire world. Influencer Alessa Antoki says in a video that has
Mhm.
racked up more than 15 million views.
There we go.
It's worth noting that Antoki appears to be a social media manager for the grocery store,
There
and her
we
family also
go.
owns the grocery store.
Uh,
Wow, that is the best strawberry.
Shocking.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. Yeah.
So it's
So
like you're exactly right, and it's even worse because the person who started the whole thing
yeah,
owns like
owns
from the
is
grocery store.
yeah is the child of the people who own the
Yeah.
grocery store, which is a boutique grocery store specifically for assholes in Los Angeles. So it's just
Yeah.
like man, is this world not already fucked up enough that this is what we have to do? This is what we're resorting to for news. That's why I'm outraged. I'm outraged because it's bullshit. And like in Canada, a box of strawberries is getting pretty close to $19 for like
Mm.
regular strawberries. So
In Canada, our strawberries are like eggs.
they are. We have egg strawberries here.
But it's
So
funny too
is
because
it?
I
So I
saw
went.
this. What?
We went shopping
Oh, dude, fuck.
yesterday. Our eggs are like normal. They're not that expensive.
Yeah, no, because
Is that just an American thing? What is happening? I
yeah,
don't understand
it's
the egg thing.
America doesn't know. Okay,
I'm
the way
blurred. I have
Canada
no.
works.
I'm all blurry on the lines here
Okay, the way
because our eggs
Canada
were not
works
expensive.
is our livestock, our milk, and our poultry. Everything has like really good product and like supply chain
Yeah,
quotas and everything. So you can't just make shit in Canada and then sell it. Like if you're talking like dairy or eggs, you have to get a quota from the government and then they buy your eggs and then they resell them. So like if you're a dairy farmer Dairyland buys your milk and then they package it and they resell it. It's the same for eggs. It's not Dairyland. I
Right.
don't know the countries, but in the States, they don't have those controls. So they'll just have like a bunch of farmers buy all the small farms and then they make a shit ton of eggs. But then with the avian bird flu that happened,
Right.
since they have these giant factory farms of billions of chickens, they're like, oh, some of them have bird flu. So they have to kill them all. So they like decimate the stockpile of eggs that are being produced
Right.
because
Yeah.
they had to kill all
Because
the
they're gonna.
chickens.
Yeah.
Whereas in Canada, we didn't get hit with
With
the
tighter
avian
controls on
bird
that.
flu because it's
Right.
like the quote is so expensive that eggs are like from a whole bunch of different farms instead of a couple really big farms.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
So
Thank you
yeah,
for. See, I learned something today. I didn't really know. I
hey,
know,
no
like,
problem.
I know the basics of the U.S. market versus our
Hmm.
market for things. Like, all of their shit is big factory farms,
Yeah,
right?
and that was like
All
one
their
of the
shit is
big
bovine
things.
growth hormone. All their shit is like
Yeah.
milk has shit in it that's gross.
Oh
All of
yeah.
ours is all like is all like pure organic stuff, right?
Yeah, and that was one of the things that Trump was so angry about from his first term was he was trying to get America to sell their excess dairy and eggs to Canada, but
No,
we're
we don't
like
want their shit. We don't want that
we
at
don't
all.
import eggs or dairy.
Yeah, we don't need
We
to.
make all our own.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Cool, man. Thanks. I learned something today on the podcast.
No problem.
That never happens.
When I can teach, I will.
Nice.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to this strawberry
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
because
Please do.
this story struck me because I was like, at first I was like, $19. That's ridiculous. Who would pay that? That's so dumb. And I was like, you know what? I'd try it.
It looks good, man.
I
It looks
want to
like a
see
good
what a
straw.
$19 strawberry tastes like.
Yeah.
And I don't want to brag about being wealthy, but
Dude,
I have $19.
we went to get coffee yesterday, my wife and I. We went on like a really small coffee date. We had some time. We went to one of our favorite coffee places and I got an Americano. She got a
Should have got a
mocha.
Canadiano
Should have got a
trader.
Canadiano. I'm sorry. I'll
Sorry
tell
for
you this.
derailing your story.
I've told you the story of the Americano before, right? Like why it's called an Americano.
I don't know if
Do you
you
know this
have, but
story?
I
You've
think I
heard this story
know.
before? Basically, it's from World War II. The American GIs were in Italy and they were like, hey, can I have a coffee? And they served him a coffee in this tiny little cup. They basically pulled an espresso shot and gave it
Mhm.
to him this little cup. And they're like, what the fuck is this? I want my whole coffee. And they're like, And so they poured an espresso shot and just dumped hot water in it in a big mug and gave it to them. And that's why they call it an Americano.
Oh, nice.
Because they basically were like, here's your big coffee, you stupid fuck. And it's like, right? It's basically Italians making fun of Americans, which is why it's called an Americano. So in a way, it's
Mhm.
kind of cool because it's an Italian coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had an Americano. She had a mocha. I had an egg and cheese croissant, and she had a piece of pumpkin loaf, and it was $29
Yeah,
without
man.
tax, with like after taxes, with no tip. I was like,
The
we went
fuck it
for
getcha.
coffee, and it was 30 fucking bucks. So a $19 strawberry doesn't sound that unreasonable to me at this
That's
point,
true.
right?
Okay, and
Yeah.
since like I went to this Emily MI, the place that makes the strawberries, and I was like, let's see what else they got. Everything's sold out, but they only offer two things. They have like the strawberries,
Yeah.
and then they have, you might like this since you can't have strawberries,
Ooh.
$90 melons that are called muskmelon.
Oh, I've heard of the muskmelon. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
My guess is it's a cross between honeydew and cantaloupe.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in between there. And it's interesting, man. When there's an economy for boutique fruit,
Yeah.
we're going too far as a society where there's like not only is there a grocery store that facilitates the sale of a $19 strawberry and like a $400 melon,
Yeah.
there's a company making specific fruit. Like they're growing the fruit to an exacting size and like
Yeah.
packaging the fruit and like right like isn't that too far? We've hit that's excess. Would you call it
Yeah.
excess?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's unnecessary and it's like for a very limited market of wealthy people. Although technically it's just on that cusp of wealth because you and I could afford a $19
Yeah.
strawberry.
I couldn't
But we
afford a
could.
$90 melon, but I could do the strawberry.
Yeah, I could do a strawberry, right? But a $90 melon's out of reach for me,
Yeah.
right?
The
Yeah.
picture of the melon is nice though, because it looks like a perfect cartoon anime melon.
Oh yeah, totally, right? Like
It's
it's
like when you
probably
see, yeah.
flawlessly round and like
Oh, yeah.
glowing and yeah,
And it
totally.
comes with like a stick on it, like the stem.
Oh yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, when do melons come with stem?
That's how they grow, Dale.
Yeah. Well, I know
They
that's
have
how they grow, but
stems
you
and
don't
leaves and stuff.
find them with the
Yeah,
stem.
I know. We never see them in the grocery store all like
It's like
alive.
when you see those
Yeah.
tomatoes with the stem on it, you're like, on the vine
On a
tomatoes?
yeah. Ooh la
Ooh.
la. And like
Like,
really they just lazily processed it. They just
yeah.
like yoink here. Right.
They're $3 extra and they just taste the exact same.
Yeah, totally. Just nobody pulled the stems off. So they're like, yeah, totally. That's pretty awesome.
Yup.
And we're all yeah, we go all goo goo over on processed
Hmm.
fruit. Oh, it's organic. Well, that's cool. Uh, on that note, we did Allie and I bought purple carrots for our garden this year. Heirloom
Ooh.
carrots. They're like purple and they're gold on the inside.
Oh, nice.
So I'll give you some carrots when we grow them
Hell yeah, I like
when
carrot.
they
Dude, I
spring
eat
up.
I actually eat carrots every day.
I do too. Most days, yeah. I love carrots.
I
They're
eat like
delicious.
mini carrots. I take them in my lunch.
They're way
Take them in
cheaper.
my lunch.
Don't they the little baby carrots?
Yeah.
Dude, they use bleach to
Yeah,
clean
they
those.
do.
Oh my god, you just said that so gross.
Yeah, they
Okay.
do.
Oh yeah, okay.
Dude, I know. I was like, I gotta stop eating baby carrots. They're so bad for you. They're just like big
They're yeah,
carrots, and then every bag, 1 in 5 bags is just mushy, and you're like, this is gross.
yeah, it's
And then you
yeah.
buy regular carrots, and then you like for 2 days you cut them up before you go to work,
Yeah,
and you're like, I can't.
I can't keep doing this.
I can't cut these up every day. And then like one day when I got like super studious, I like got a like a bucket and I cut up all the like carrots like they do in restaurants and you put
Yeah,
it in the water, but like they'll stay forever as long as you switch the water because it's a root vegetable. So
yeah.
if you switch the water every day or two, then they're fresh and they're good. But then I was like, changing the water of these
It's a pain in
carrots
the
that I had
ass.
to go through all the, and I'm like, what am I fucking Amish? I'm
Yeah.
just buying mini
what
carrots.
what am I, a chef now? This is
What am I gonna
ridiculous.
churn my own butter?
That's you have the action for that. You could totally
Yeah, I
churn
do.
your butter. You're Dutch, you can churn your butter.
I'm
No
not
problem.
putting up with all the bad points of living in a giant Vancouver society
Yeah.
and doing
And
Amish
doing
amounts of
Amish
work
labor.
just for my
Amish
fucking
weekend labor.
lunch. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that's no fun.
When I make my lunch in the morning, I just want it to be like,
And you're off the peanuts now. I got you off the
yeah,
peanuts.
you did.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm on
on
yeah.
almond butter.
Almond butter. Yeah, that's what we got too.
Almonds.
We bought mixed nut butter.
Ooh.
Has like almonds and cashews and stuff.
Does
It's
it have
pretty
peanuts in
delicious.
it still?
Nope, no peanuts.
I saw the mixed nut and I was like, and I was like, well, I know I like almond
Yeah. Yeah.
and cashew. That's like for people who can afford $90 muffin or
Yeah. Yeah. $90 melons.
melons. I'm not a cashew guy. Like, I want to be a cashew guy, but they're fucking expensive.
It hurts, man. It hurts when you look at the like because we got it at Costco, right? It's the Costco one.
Yeah.
And then right beside it is 2 kilograms of peanut butter for $12 or
Oh
one
yeah.
973 milliliter bottle of mixed nut butter for $8.97. You're like, fuck. It's like
That's still pretty good for
it's
mixed
less
nut
than
butter.
half. It's less than half for $4
Yeah.
less. Yeah.
But
It's
that's
yeah,
actually really good for
it is
like I
actually
got
really
mine
good.
at Walmart and it
Yeah.
was 9 something.
Yeah, totally. Oh gosh, sorry. It's late. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah. It's
So yeah,
it's not as late as it actually is
I
because
know.
it says the clock says 8:40, but it's actually only 7:40.
I did work for I worked for 10 days straight, 11 days straight.
Oh yeah,
11,
that's why
10
we
or
didn't
10,
have an
yeah.
episode because Geoff was off being big time travels for
Being
work
big
guy.
time travels for work guy.
Hey
It was
Geoff,
good.
do you want to do the podcast? Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm on a jet,
I
Dale.
can't do it. I'm flying right now. That's my
I'm
favorite
flying to
answer.
TO to see
Yeah.
Drake. I'm
Yeah, it
like,
was good.
you're
Yeah, I didn't see Drake. I got
oh.
very cold. It sucked there. It was minus 17. It was terrible.
For how much people like Drake, you figure he'd have to like be nice to you every time you land.
I
Otherwise, I
thought
don't
people hate
understand.
Drake. Isn't this the whole thing where they like people don't like him? Isn't that what the Super Bowl was about? Is about calling Drake a pedophile? Am I talking about the
Oh,
wrong
that's like
person?
rapper beef. That never makes sense.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, I saw like it's kind of funny because I like saw a shocking amount of like his clothing line on people there, like all
Yeah.
over the place.
The
Everybody wears
owl
it.
thing.
The owl thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like dude, he's like the most popular rapper and he's from Canada. That's so
Yeah.
weird.
I have a weird thing about Toronto. I think I like it.
Ugh.
No, I know,
I've
I
only
know,
ever
I
been there.
know,
I
I
went there
know.
once in January
Yeah.
and I was like, no.
I've been to Toronto a bunch of times now, and I like
Mhm.
this time I think I actually liked it. I think I was like,
Okay.
huh, okay, this is cool. But there are people everywhere all the time.
I hate rap
Yeah.
and hip hop culture too much to put up with Toronto.
Yeah, see, I don't care about any of that. So I
How
just
do
find the
you
city
just see it
fascinating.
everywhere?
Oh my God. I got to tell you this story
Oh,
though.
tell me a story.
So Saturday night, there
Mhm.
was a WWE event
Ooh.
there. I haven't watched wrestling in forever. But it's something
Dude,
about
it's
a
on
chamber.
Netflix now.
I know something about a chamber. Yeah, we watched the Royal
Oh,
Rumble. That's
Elimination
why
Chamber. I
elimination.
watched
So
it.
elimination chamber was at Toronto that night, and
Oh
it's like the
yeah.
first time in 15 years that the WWE had been in Canada.
Nice.
So I was like, well, shit, I've got nothing to do. It's Saturday night. The rest of my team shows up on Sunday. I'm going to go to wrestling. So I walked
My
from my
God.
hotel all the way downtown to what I thought was the right arena. And I didn't even look.
Oh
Didn't
yeah.
look around or anywhere. I just saw like a huge gathering of people, and I knew it was like at the Scotiabank Arena or whatever. And
Yeah.
I went to the ticket counter because I'm fucking old and I didn't buy my tickets online. But it looked like I looked online and it looked like there were a bunch of tickets left. I'm like, I'll just go to the window and I'll go
Yeah.
fucking ask about it. And I was like, hey, are there any tickets left? And she's like, oh yeah, there's a couple left here. They're this and they're like $151. I was like, fuck. All right, yeah, let's do it. I'll do a ticket. And I gave her my MasterCard and I got a ticket. And she's like, okay, cool. It'll transfer to your phone. You'll get a text message. Just bring it up and make sure that you got it just before you leave. I was like, okay, cool. And I clicked the text link and I turned around to go walk to get into the line. And this thing comes up on my phone and it's like, congratulations, you have your tickets for worship night with some dude. I was like, what the fuck did I just do? I didn't even
No.
look. I didn't look at signs or anything. And I turned
No.
around and she closed her wicket, her
Oh
like
my
ticket wicket.
God.
And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? I'm gonna go. I want to go to a religious show. And so I
Like I could have
ran
had a
back.
melon for this
Dude,
price.
I could have got 2 melons for that.
Oh
I could have got a
man.
melon and 2 strawberries or 4 strawberries for that price. So I ran back to the window and there's a lady there and I'm like banging on the window and I'm like, hey, this is not wrestling. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, where's the wrestling? And she's like, there's no wrestling. That's next door. And I was like, why are there two fucking stadiums next door to each other in Toronto? They refunded my money.
Oh, thank God.
They returned the ticket. They like gave me back the refund.
Ironically, thank God.
That's what I said. I said, "What the hell is this? It's not wrestling." And then I was like, "Oh shit!" I said, "Hell," and I was like losing my marbles. And I'm like, so the long and the short of it is, I almost had a religious experience, and I didn't get to go to
God.
wrestling. And I went back to my hotel. Actually, I ended up at Shake Shack. I went to the only Shake
Oh,
Shack in
nice.
Canada, and I got a burger and a shake and some fries. And I pouted because I wasn't watching wrestling, and I didn't get to see John Cena. And
Yeah, but imagine
but what a night!
if you
What a
would have
night!
got on the hook for that $150 ticket
Fuck,
to
dude.
see some dude talk about God.
Yeah. So yeah. So the moral of the story is just buy your tickets online so you know what you're getting and then go to the
Or
right
look at the
place.
tickets of what you're
Or
buying.
also, Toronto, this is for you specifically. Don't put two fucking stadiums next to each other.
Yeah.
There we go. Put like in Vancouver, we have some distance, like BC Place and Rogers Arena are separate. They're like very separate. They're close, but they're
There's like
separate.
a road that goes between
There's a
them.
road that goes between them. These two stadiums, they're butt up right against
Oh
each
my
other.
God, Geoff.
Literally, I went out the door and the other arena where wrestling was happening was literally outside those doors where
Oh
the ticket windows
man,
were.
that's hilarious. I love
Yeah.
that you went to Toronto and had like a sitcom episode.
I did, man. That's like, and the other thing was I realized like, cause I was working, I was setting up a trade show booth
Yeah.
all day. And so I had my like pocket knife on me that my wife got me for Christmas. And I was like, fuck, they're going to take it from me when I go through security,
Oh
even though it's
no.
like the blade's like this long, it's for opening
Yeah.
boxes. But like I had a knife on me and I walked all the way down there and I was like, I'm going to go hide this in the dirt outside of the stadium, come back and get it later. And then I just fucking lost my mind and I totally went to Shake Shack and just had a pout and a burger about it.
Oh,
Anyway,
Pouty Burgers
Pouty
sounds like a
burger,
good night to me.
pouty burger. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's my stupid Toronto story. There you go.
Since we we got the ball rolling on Boomer Talk with complaining about how expensive nuts are and fruit is,
Yep.
let's talk some more Boomer shit. Well, that's actually not even Boomer shit. It's just Gen Z and Gen X shit.
Okay. Tell me
The
about it.
thumbs up emoji.
Oh yeah. What is this shit? Tell me about this.
So
Okay.
there's like
I'm swearing a lot
TikToks.
tonight. I'm sorry.
Hey, explicit lyrics, kids. there's all these TikToks about like Gen Z kids being like, hey, when you use the thumbs up emoji, that's like an F you to us. And then it's
Really?
just like Gen Xers being like, if we wanted to say F you, we'd just say F you.
Yeah. Isn't there like a middle finger
Yeah, there
emoji?
is. So
Yeah.
apparently, if you're young and soft and a dickhead and you like text somebody and then they just send you the thing back of a thumbs up, it's kind of like a yeah, whatever. That's how
Huh.
they're reading it. So it's like, you know how like nuance and sarcasm is lost in text.
Yeah.
Apparently,
In emojis
everything's
now.
lost in emojis.
Crazy.
So, and then yeah, and it's just like it's
That, I
just
don't. That's
basically all these Gen Xers being like, "Fuck you,
yeah. Pretty
shut up."
much. Pretty much. Fuck you, because it's a thumbs up. It's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
in. Right. Like because I can't be searching for like 100 or like whatever, right? Like I don't care
yeah,
about all that shit. Just it's yes, I'm into this. It's cool. Yes.
yeah, and it's
Uh
funny because basically every Gen X reply is, "Yeah, it's just the fastest way to end the conversation.
it really is. Yeah.
We don't
I
like
mean,
texting."
wasn't the millennial conversation ender lol? Like this, they put lol at the end of everything.
Oh yeah,
Lol.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
really laughing. It's just my what do they call it? My emotional support lol at the end of a sentence.
Dude, I put lol on everything still.
You know what
It's
I do?
so hard not to.
This is very Gen X of me, when
Yeah,
especially for someone who comes into texting when they're like 20 years old.
yeah.
Putting an exclamation point after everything so people think I'm friendly.
That just makes it sound like you're yelling.
No. All caps is yelling. The exclamation point
Oh.
is non-threatening at the end. It's like, yeah, I'm excited about this. Everything I type is exciting.
Oh. But then I read it, I'm like, why is Jeff so excited about
It's
that?
not. It's because I have to put that on there, or people will think I'm mean with just a
Why
period at
is
the end.
Jeff
I don't know. It's
excited about
fucked up,
some
man. It's
worship
totally yeah.
concert?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so funny, man. I still have the text message on my phone still because
Oh
it
man.
was so funny. And then oh yeah, receipt Scotiabank Arena. I have it right here.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's funny because
$154. Your
I
tickets for Elevation Worship and Stephen Furtick are here. Tap to view your tickets. And then you tap it, it's no longer valid. So I
it's
almost went
funny because I like
thumbs up emoji.
just
Fuck this.
recently I was like, should I be using a mode or like exclamation points in text? Because I never ever use them.
Don't do it.
And then I'm
It's
like,
once you
because
start,
you're
you
right,
can't
it is
stop.
like, hey, I'm pretty excited about this. But then
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want people to think then like the Gen X in me comes out. It's like, I don't want people to think I care about things because having feelings is lame.
it's lame. You can't have feelings. It's
It's
stupid.
just the Gen
Yeah,
X like fucking
yeah, dude.
inner
Like
monologue in our head.
I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, I've put so many exclamation points at the end. I got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I texted you and there's exclamation points. I'm not that excited about it. I'm literally sitting in my
Yeah.
pajamas,
And
pretending to
it's
be
it's
stoked
it's
about
funny
stuff.
because it's like millennials talk about like social anxiety and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, we Gen X all had that. We just never let anybody know about it because they
That's
make
right.
fun of us.
Exactly, right? Because yeah, there were repercussions for being emotional.
Yeah.
You got your nipples pinched or you got punched or something.
Yeah. Oh, you
Don't be such a
care about
fucking
stuff?
douche. You care
Dork.
about stuff, you suck. Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, man. It's terrible.
Want to have a cry circle about it?
Yeah, my nips still hurt from the 90s.
Oh,
What the
and
fuck's
then
wrong with you? You crying? You cry across the bar. Like, oh my nipples. Ah, fuck.
there's this court case right now. Here, I gotta look this up because
Okay.
I meant to do it before the podcast, but I was
Yeah.
running late. So we're just gonna fill the last 10 minutes of Dale um
Reading from
Google
Google.
stuff. So what
That's our
happened was
favorite.
I'll just give you
Duck
I'll
Duck
just give you the
Dale.
rundown. I always feel like if I just explain a story, then like it's not like having proof, but if I
Yeah.
look at it and no one can see it and then I explain it, I feel like that's more proof, but it's the exact same to everybody
Okay.
because they
Okay.
can't. Okay.
Lay it
So
on
what
me.
happened is I can't remember where it was. I think it was in Manitoba. There's like a wheat place that buys all the wheat from farmers, and then there's a farmer who or flax, sorry, not wheat.
Flax. Okay.
So this guy he like grows flax and he like does the shit with it and it's so funny because remember when I was talking about like threshing
Yep.
and
Yeah.
doing so apparently I had it wrong and my brother knows a wheat farmer and
Of
he was
course he
like, well, he
does.
says you're wrong about this like threshing and there's something it was called something else because I thought it was threshing but it was something else.
Separating the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, anyways, it was like, yeah, because that's like when you, anyway, so I had that wrong.
Okay.
And it's just funny that I'm bringing up flax now, flax farming, and I'm probably going to get it wrong. And then I'm going to
All
hear
right.
about it because it's Canada. Everybody knows farmers, every type of
Everybody,
farmer.
somebody that's listening to this right now knows a farmer.
Yeah. Um,
The future is flax, the Flax Council of Canada.
so this guy, he like grows flax, and then he like texts this guy, or he like texts the guy who buys the flax, and then the guy in the flax who buys the flax, he makes up a contract, he texts him back, and it's all like they're just doing this over text. It's very
Yeah.
like
Casual.
informal and stuff.
Yeah.
And so the guy who buys the flax will like give the guy a price what he's going to buy for, and then the farmer will just reply thumbs up, because like we just explained,
Yeah.
that's the quickest way to say, okay, I got you, whatever,
Gotcha.
over and
Understood.
out,
I understand the
Roger.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am cognizant of what's happening right now.
So he does this, and then something happens where the price of flax triples, or there's a huge loss in the crop. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So what happens was the farmer doesn't deliver the flax. And so the guy who buys the flax is suing him because he never got the flax.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, the whole reason, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because the court decided that the thumbs up counts as a confirmation on the contract. So it's basically like signing a contract. And I was just flabbergasted because I remember like when we were growing up
Yeah.
and we were going to sign stuff, we had to have a blue pen
Yeah. It had to be
or
a
a
blue
black
pen.
pen.
Yeah.
You couldn't even sign a contract in a red pen
Yeah.
because it wouldn't be like
Wasn't
legally
legally
binding.
binding. Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, was that all wives' tales? If we could just give an emoji
Yeah.
over
Well,
text?
it's interesting you say that because I mean I remember like one of these throwbacks to farming things, and you know this probably from that. You didn't even need a bonded signature, but you had to make a mark of some sort in the signature column on paperwork. So it could be an X, it could be some dots, it could be a T, it could be whatever you know how to write. Because a lot of farm culture is like there's a lot of illiteracy, so you don't
Mhm.
necessarily know how to write your name or spell your name out. So you could just like make a mark. And I was thinking about that, and like an emoji could be a substitute for a signage mark, right? Which is the only legal minimum. You have to make a mark of some kind, so an emoji could technically count as that.
Yeah. If it was on
Maybe
paper, you
it was
just
on paper,
draw.
but on a text is a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what happens is, and the reason why it's good, like, because I read the article and I was like, whatever. The reason I was going to research this was because I didn't know, because the article didn't say if the guy who buys the flax had already paid the farmer
oh right, yeah,
and he was suing to get the money back, or he was just suing him because he agreed to give him grain and then he
right.
never did.
Never
Because what
did, never
happened
got it.
was like something happened to the flax crop and this guy never ended up producing any flax, so he couldn't give him flax. And then the guy was like, well, yeah, but you gave me a thumbs up, so you owe me money. And then it just, to me, it just sounded like this dickhead guy
That's a little
suing a
shifty.
farmer.
Yeah, totally. Right,
And
like
yeah,
there was no product exchange. There was an agreed upon price,
yeah,
but the good was never made
delivered.
or delivered. So he really doesn't have a leg to stand on.
But the
As it
other
were.
thing too is I don't know if the guy buying it had given him money, because
Right.
if he hadn't given money for the contract, to me it just should just be void.
Yeah, totally. The
Like, but
contract
it,
would be void because there's nothing
yeah.
nothing ever actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
A contract was written, money never changed hands, and goods never changed hands. So
Oh,
there's
we don't know
nothing
if
there.
money
We
never
don't know. We
changed
don't know
hands.
if
But yeah,
yeah,
like
you're right.
that's the hypothetical. Because if money never changed hands and this guy's still suing him, he's just a dirtbag.
He's a dirtbag. He's just a dirtbag
Like
looking for dirtbag
it should
stuff.
be one of those things like, hey, fucking flax crop collapsed. You
Yeah.
can't just sue this guy to try make money back because you want to cover your own ass and just like kick a guy when he's down, because obviously he didn't make any flax,
Right.
so he lost all that money anyway. You can't just go sue him on top of that.
Right. He's like, it's
Jerk.
you doubling. He's doubling down on his
Yeah.
losses. Or on his non gains. That's weird. That's
Yeah.
weird behavior.
He's like, hey, I heard that you had no flax to sell. But did you also know I'm a giant piece of shit
Yeah,
and
a
I'm
piece
gonna
of
sue
shit.
you anyway?
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like it's sometimes I wonder, and this happened in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in Manitoba, I
Manitoba, right?
believe.
Yeah. So like it just I was thinking about this tonight too, like how litigious the US is, like just about like because we were trying to explain to our son, we were watching a TV show,
Yeah,
and this guy uh was injured in the like at work, and then he was like suing the person who was his trainer and also this other guy,
yeah,
and like and the department that he worked for, and I was like, oh man, like that's such a litigious country, and I was trying to explain to our son like in Canada we don't really do that. So I'm wondering though sometimes if some of the US litigiousness seeps into our culture, just like I'm gonna fucking sue this guy because he didn't give me what I need and I didn't get any
yeah,
money, so I'm gonna sue them. Like there's like always this weird out for like not taking responsibility for your actions. Like you fucking signed up to do that,
yeah,
right? Like, and now
yeah.
you're like, well, it didn't happen in my favor, so it's everyone else's fault but mine. So I'm going to
Hmm.
sue them. And like, we don't really have that in Canada, that mindset or that like, or the avenue to make that kind of litigious argument to a
Yeah.
court, right? Like, we don't really have that set up here. It's not really part of our culture, kind of thing, too. But
I
it's
think
starting to get there.
I think the main big reason is that in the States, like I know there's a lot of like subtle reasons and there's like a big like we have basically different law, like the way the law works in countries, but I seem to remember like from 25 years ago when I was still in college, we kind of talked about this. And one of the things is in the States, if you sue somebody, a lot of the lawyers you don't have to pay unless you win.
Unless you win, yeah.
Whereas in Canada, you have to pay no matter what.
Regardless, yeah, totally.
So if you do a frivolous lawsuit,
You're going to pay for that.
then you're
Yeah,
going to have to pay for your lawyer. And like, yeah. And it's also like just like how like there's less people in Canada, so there's not as
totally.
many lawsuits. And then they like actually take all their lawsuits more serious, where they're like, just get out of here, you're not doing this. And then in the States, it's like most of the time when they're doing lawsuits, they're just looking for a settlement.
Yeah,
Like you were saying, that guy who was like suing the trainer, the company, and whatever,
yeah.
he wasn't
If
like,
he
he didn't want to go to court and like
no
sue all those guys separately. He just wanted them
wants
to
a
be like
payout, yeah,
give them go away money.
totally, yeah. Like
Yeah.
they sue for like a huge amount of money, and then they meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. And then probably another thing too, in Canada, we have such stricter, like more employee favorable employment laws and
Yeah,
stuff.
totally.
So that if you do get injured, you just basically get paid or whatever. But you can't really sue because there's like all these like things like, oh, you can't sue because of this and this and this. And it's all like straightforward, where it's like more Wild West in the States,
It's a little more, yeah, totally.
if that makes sense.
It does. It totally makes sense. You okay?
Oh, I'm like super fucking sick. I don't know if you could hear it in my voice.
Oh no,
And I'm just running out of steam.
that's fair, man. I'm getting a
I'm
little
running out of steam. I'm actually, I did have to take a cough break there when you were
yeah.
talking about going for coffee, but I thought I was gonna cough more, but I'm glad I drank like 6 drinks or
I'm
3 drinks.
like I was away for a while, and I've been around a million people, and I'm tired. It's like I feel it like a little bit in my
Oh
throat. I'm
yeah,
trying not
dude.
to get sick. I'm just like, no, don't get sick. I'm
I've been sick
good.
for like 3 weeks.
Oh
And
man.
it's crazy because it'll like, I think it's like different sicknesses, but on
Yeah.
last Wednesday, let's just talk about how Dale was sick.
Sure.
So last Wednesday,
Today on Ailment Factory.
I came home from work and I like, when you have like the fever where you
Yeah.
got like you're kind of lightheaded, and it's like I was wearing a hoodie and sweatpants and I was like in my bed under the covers. Andrea had taken Ruby out for a walk. So it was like just an hour of me like just passed out in my bed, all bundled up, and I was still like shivering.
Yeah.
And then like I slept for like 10 hours that night. And then like at like 1 in the morning, I woke up and I was just like so hot. So I like it was
Oh no,
basically the
you're
opposite.
definitely sick. Yeah.
And then like I stripped
That's
down
my
and
fault.
then like so I like and then I woke up at like my alarm went off to go for work and I felt fine. I was like, what the
Weird. Yeah.
fuck? Like I
Yeah.
just had like super like fever, and I was like, maybe the fever broke in the middle of the night. And then I
Yeah.
was like,
That's happened
fine.
to me before, I'm pretty sure.
And then Thursday I actually end up going to work. I'm like, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I feel kind of bad. Then Friday I go to work, and then I get home and I have like what feels like a really bad chest cold, and I'm like coughing. And I was like at work, I was losing my voice. I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody else was fucking super pumped about it.
Glad you're there. Yeah.
And then yesterday I was all like, I started getting like lightheaded again. I was like, I was that fucking fever back, and but it never came back. And I just like
Oh,
had like a sick headache and stuff. And then it's just like it just comes and goes in waves. I don't know. But like I thought I would like maybe like it's vaping, or like I was like not getting enough sleep, or I wasn't taking the right vitamins or something. So I thought maybe I was just like fucked up. But then a different guy at work had the exact same thing,
oh, weird.
like that I was talking about Wednesday, and I was like, oh, maybe it's this like because there's this really
Hantavirus?
bad cold that's going around. What?
Maybe it's hantavirus.
Yeah,
You should be
maybe
careful.
fucking snorting mouse poop or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's that what's that RSV thing that's going around?
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I don't even know what that is.
Some RSV, respiratory sick
Virus.
virus.
Respiratory
Yeah.
sick virus.
Anyways, there's something like bad going around. I was like, oh, maybe that was it. Because I can't really blame COVID anymore.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. It's respiratory sinusitis syncytial virus. Oh my
Sounds made
god.
up.
I nailed that one. Man, holy cow. I nailed that one
I ain't even
hard.
mad because I've done that so many times.
Yeah. And the mild cold-like symptoms and the infections that go away on their own, it can be serious for babies, small children, or older adults. So you and I are fine, as usual.
I feel
As
like an
usual,
older
middle-aged
adult.
white dudes prevail. we don't get the RSV is mild in us. And
Yeah.
it'll pass.
What was I gonna say? I
I
can't
don't know.
remember.
You're
Oh,
so
I
sick
did a
you can't
COVID
remember.
test.
Oh,
I
and
yeah, negative, but I was like,
if I never have to swab my nose again, I'll be
it
happy.
brought back memories, baby.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was surprised we still had some. They're just like in the
like
bottom of the
I have like
medicine
10 of
cabinet.
them in my cab. Yeah. I remember my two previous jobs ago, they issued us with they're like, if you feel sick at all, here, do one of these. Here's 10 of them. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. So what happened was, remember, we ran out of COVID tests, like the whole country ran out of
yeah,
COVID tests. They became like super scarce and hard to get. And then COVID sort of was over, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Right. Like they ended the mandates and everything. And then you'd waltz into a drugstore and there's like a wall of COVID tests. They
Yeah.
finally caught up to production and like, here's a shit ton of COVID tests. Hey, take as many as you want. So our work,
Yeah.
I guess, grabbed like a shit ton of them, like a
Hmm.
carload. It was like, you get 10 or 15, you get 10 or 15. Everybody got like issued a
Nice.
shit pile of COVID tests. Or like, if you feel remotely sick, take a COVID test.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like doing it because I feel like a scientist, but that you're right. The nose swab, you're like,
No, yeah. It's
and then
like
you're like,
if you can't, if it doesn't feel like it's touching your brain, push further. Like and like everything in your brain, and schools, like you remember back in school are like, don't put shit all the way up your nose. And then this is like, yeah, go ahead, put stuff all the way up there your nose until it touches your brain. It's
yeah.
for science. It's okay.
Maybe I didn't push it up high enough because it didn't feel like
Dude,
it was pushing my brain.
the every time I did the COVID test, I remember like grade 5 or 6 Egyptian things where they get to get the brain out when they mummify the body. They put a
Yeah.
hook up there and they grab the brain and pull it out through the nose. I'm like, this is fucking Egyptian.
Yeah. Or like in Total Recall when he's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, no, I'm good. I'm good.
All
Yeah.
right.
Is that it? Are we calling it? You look tired. It's
That
time
just
to
hit
go.
me.
Okay.
But
Let's
yeah,
call it.
let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm about to start coughing, so we should
Okay.
end it.
Right on.
Okay. Until next time.
Stay angry. Here's your big coffee, you stupid fuck.